So guys, I just thought of a Five Nights at Freddy's is ruined DLC theory that I have enough evidence to support it. And what it is that whenever Cassie goes down the elevator, which this is a spoiler, whenever Cassie first goes down the elevator to go to the mimic ending, whenever she goes down, I'll keep on explaining what I mean by the mimic ending, because the endings are the mimic ending. So, what happens is, she goes down there, and she uses the elevator, and everyone should know this if they've watched YouTube and that type of thing. So, what happens is, when she uses that elevator, that is something that I will get at later, and whenever she goes through, does everything the first way, the way that it's a canon ending, she goes through, and a lot of people are wondering why she fell in the elevator. And I started thinking back to when Freddy, he said to Gregory, it's a one-way trip down, and you can't get back up using the elevator. And that wasn't the true canon ending. That never happened. That was just in Gregory's imagination. So, what happened is that Cassie used the elevator to get down there, aka the one trip. And when she ended up trying to leave using that elevator, she ended up trying to use the second trip, not knowing about this. So, that ended up being bad and ended up getting her basically demolished, because the elevator fails because it's a one-way trip, and that second trip the elevator couldn't support, which everyone should know this. And I have evidence about the Freddy and everything, and about everything about the mimic and stuff. So this is when Freddy says the Gregory thing, which I got this from the game Archivist.
This elevator does not appear to follow any safety protocols. I do not think it can
Right there. He said that it does not survive more than one trip. I don't know if it has sound or whatnot, but you can see in the subtitles right there, it literally says, I think it can only survive one trip. So, that got me speculating. So, what happened was, here's a bunch of the theory. So, this is the mimic, like everyone knows. He also mimicked William Afton, which I have more to support that too. And, like a bunch of people know, for the scooping room ending, he uses that. But if you can free Bonnie's soul, you get this one. This is basically explaining how it was William Afton, that he took his body parts and unclipped them and hinged them together in different ways. So basically, he can destroy his endoskeleton and put it back together. And knowing this, he can transform himself into anyone else. So, technically, the burn trap ending, if it even was actually real in the first security breach, burn trap was the mimic. And a bunch of people know this already. And I'm talking a bunch. Anybody that knows FNAF lore knows this. So basically, knowing all of this, we can put two and two together and say that Cassie fell because the elevator could only support one trip, and that the one trip was already used. So when she tried to use it, she fell, and that's what's leading up to FNAF Security Breach Ruin 3 or whatever it's going to be called. Or that Help Wanted 2, which a bunch of YouTubers have speculated. Which, whatever it is, I have a basic knowledge that Roxy ended up somehow somehow ended up surviving and acknowledged that Cassie was in danger. So she went down where the elevator was. She climbed down the elevator line and stuff, and she said, "Cassie." Saying, basically, checking if she was alright. So she was basically Glam Rock Freddy to Cassie. Instead, she wasn't Glam Rock Freddy, she was Roxanne Wolf. She was basically the carrier. She was the care provider, so she didn't stick with her all the time. So what happened was, after all of that happened, that's what's leading up to the next one. And with all this knowledge that I've told you guys, is you should be able to acknowledge that the elevator shaft crashing down ending was just something that was going to happen no matter what, because if you're sticking to the events and everything, and if you go back to Security Breach, and you can check for yourself that if Freddy says it's a one-way only trip. So that's the speculation of mine, that she ended up having that happen because she didn't know about the one-way trip issue. So that's basically what I speculated that happened. So that's gonna wrap up this video. I'll let you guys know if I find anything else out. So that's gonna be the end of this video. Oh, and goodbye. See you guys in the next video.